Hey there, lovelies. Welcome to Tea Time with Ty. It's me, daughter of the Most High. Brace yourself, because this tea might just transform your life. Hey there, lovelies. Welcome to the reading chair, and welcome to another segment of Tea Time with Ty. And it's me, Ty, aka God's daughter, because I am God's daughter. And today, guys, I have a special guest with me. We're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna mix it up. So, I have with me today, guys, a guest. So instead of me actually reading a segment, we're going to go through her story and what's going on in her life, and then I'm gonna, go back and forth with questions, and then I'll ask you some questions. So this is Denise Thomas again, and yeah, so right now, guys, Denise is struggling with a custody battle. Essentially, her significant other ended up taking her daughter from her without her knowledge, and he's been having her ever since October.
Yes.
And so I'm just gonna let her share a little bit of her story, and then we're gonna, move forward from there.
Hi guys. Again, Denise. Yes, I can even say I'm currently married. I'm currently married, been married for 10 years. Me and my husband separated, I would say about 5 years ago. I then went to be by myself for 2 years to currently heal from my marriage. And then I met a guy who I thought that I had or was in love with. No, I can say I was in love with. And we were together within the 3 years, and we ended up having a child, which is the child that I'm currently dealing with the custody battle with.
And so and I'm sure the people want to know as well, how do you think that you got with this person? Because I heard you say that you're still married. So is it something where you think that you and your husband were no longer going to work? How did you come to that decision?
Well, my husband was the type of person that I felt like was a working person. He was a provider for the family. So I adore that about him, but I was looking for the love, the affection, for him to see me, not just to be working all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I met this person that I currently have a child with, mm-hmm. and he was that person. He was the person that gave me the time, gave me the romance, all of that.
Gotcha. And it does. It makes sense. You get into a relationship and you expect the romance, the time, the quality of the relationship. But when you don't get that, then you start feeling like that space needs to be filled. And that sounds like that's essentially what you were doing.
Yeah, and
with
that's
this other guy.
Yes, that's what happened.
Gotcha. And so you guys moved forward in a relationship, and you ended up having a child.
Yes.
And it didn't work out how you thought it was going to work out, and then now he ended up taking the baby.
Yes.
Do you feel like there was any warning of that potentially happening, or?
Yeah, I can say there were red flags, but I did not pay attention to those red flags. And not red flags as far as him telling me, hey, I'm going to take her. No. The red flags that dreams, and the red flags of, because he was currently married as well, a situation to where his wife took the kids from him, and I was the person that he came and I consoled him at that time. Mm-hmm. So those kind of things, and not getting along with his family, that was another thing I should have was a red flag. But when you feel like you're in love with somebody, mm-hmm. I was in this bubble, mm-hmm. that nobody can tell me that he was not the one for me.
And I think that is familiar with a lot of people, especially women. We get into these relationships and we feel that in spite of the red, purple, and sometimes black flags that we are seeing, we don't see them. Like, they're there, but it's almost like we subconsciously ignore them or push them away, because all we can feel in that moment is that this person loves me and I love this person, right?
Exactly.
And so I think that a lot of us can relate to Denise's situation, even if we were not in that specific predicament. We can relate, right? Right. So now you're in a situation where your baby is gone, and we all know what time of the year it is. It's, you know, Christmas, Thanksgiving has come and passed, Christmas just passed, you know. How are you dealing with a lot, you know, things like that?
It's been hard. It has been hard. I think the best thing for me is having the support that I have around me. My family, church family, and my friends, and especially my parents, they have been the biggest support for me.
Yeah. And let me just give you a hug real quick. Yes, I know. And you know, it's so important, and this is what I talk about a lot. It's so important, guys, that when people are in various different situations, that they have a great support system. Like Denise just mentioned, her having that support meant everything. She's not a suicidal type person, but if she didn't have that support, who's to say that she wouldn't have had a nervous breakdown that resulted in a heart attack or a stroke as a result of the weight of the stress that she's experiencing during this time? But that support system, it acts as a buffer, if you will, to help her to get through this. And these people are here to walk her through this, even though it may not feel good. And, you know, clearly she's not happy about the situation. She's getting through it. And the reason why I wanted her to come on here today to share her story, guys, is not to magnify her pain or anything. What it is I really want to spread awareness. On my segment last week, we discussed a little bit about being sexually active, becoming sexually active, getting into relationships, having children at young ages, and not just at a young age, but also too by people that, you know, we're going to have to deal with for the remainder of our lives. And I think that with Denise sharing her story, and a lot of other women, you know, sharing theirs, this shines light on that topic that no one wants to talk about. That it is absolutely imperative that you do the research, that you do your homework, that you seek God on who you're going to reproduce with and who you're in a relationship with, because essentially that's who you would end up reproducing with. So, you know, what is your take on that, Denise, when it comes to like having children, you know, or being with your significant other and eventually, you know, reproducing? How do you think that you felt in the past regarding that, and how do you feel now? Because, right, we don't think about these things, but when let's just be honest, when we're young, honey, what we call it? Young, dumb, and full of cum. Like, we don't think about these things when we're growing up. When we meet that person, all we can do is see that person from a physical standpoint. Oh, he is fine. Oh, she is fine, you know, and we want to do nothing else but to be with that person. Yes, we are thinking about, I want to have his babies, or I want her to have my babies, but we're not thinking about that person's mental state. We're not thinking about that person's emotional state. We're not thinking about how that person will, you know, interact with our lives. Yeah. So just share a little bit about like the past, how you would have thought compared to how you're thinking now.
So I can say, like, growing up, I was just taught, like, don't have sex. Like, sex was just don't have it sex.
Mm-hmm.
Now
reason.
that I have right, there was no reason. And I think that was more curious because they're saying don't do it.
Exactly.
But now that because I do have an older daughter, she's 18 as well. Now with being in my situation, I'm like telling her, hey, you see that the situation that I'm going with, you want to make sure that you know this person before you lay down with them and you actually have sex with that person, because not knowing somebody, and I'm not going to say I didn't know him because I do feel like I knew him, but there was a mask. Because I can say that he honestly he's a good person, but him doing what he's doing now is not a good thing. Because he did romance me. I was the queen. I didn't have a lot to do. Like, he did everything for me. And it's not always about that either. But now I just tell my daughter, like, you know, when you lay down and have sex with somebody, realize that you could get pregnant and that you will have to do with this person for the rest of your life. So that is a big thing now, because I'm like, I didn't think about that. And having kids with my husband, I didn't go through anything like this. So it's like, now looking at it, I'm like, you know, I don't want to ever be in this situation. I would never want anyone else to be in this situation. And just trying to learn somebody and get to know them, and not just wanting to have a child, because I can say we were together for 2 years and that was on both of our minds. Like, let's have a baby, not even really thinking about how or what the consequences could be or what could happen. So I would say make sure you know somebody, or try to get to know somebody before you actually have sex with them and want to have a child.
And I 100% agree with that. Like, if you are dating, you know, which that's a normal part of life, but understand that person, understand who that person is. And I'm not saying, you know, to wait years to get married until you know that person. You can know a person for 1 month and know that person, or you can know a person for 5 years and not know that person and think that you know who they are, and it's not who they really are. Like Denise said, they can be putting on a mask the entire time. But just be prudent in that decision making. And what I mean by prudent is think about it, really contemplate and seek God on that. And I know that everybody may not be, you know, believers, but you have to have some type of direction as to, you know, who you're going to spend your entire life with, who you're going to reproduce with, because like Denise said, you're going to have to deal with that person, and you're not just going to have to deal with them for 18 years. You're going to have to deal with them for your whole life. That child is going to grow up, get married, have babies. That other parent is going to want to be at that person's graduation, their wedding, them having a childbirth. They're going to want to be in the grandchildren's lives, and so on and so forth. So this is something that you really do have to, guys. So with all of that being said, now I have some questions for you. So first, I want to know if you've ever been in a situation like this. I can say for me, I've definitely dealt with something very similar to this, where my ex-husband did take my son. Well, technically he didn't take him. I sent my son out to visit his grandparents, and then my ex-husband ended up moving there, and that's when he would bring my son back. And that was a difficult time for me. So have you ever experienced something like this? If you did, how did you handle that? Did you have a good support system while you were going through it? Do you feel like you were supported, or do you feel like you were just ridiculed for the decisions that you made? Have you known someone who has been in this type of situation? How did you support them? Or instead of supporting them, did you ridicule that person? Did you pass judgment? These are the things that we have to think about, guys, whenever we see or experience things such as this, because you never know what someone else is going through until you get perspective on what that person is going through. And that's the same about you. So with that being said, think about it. And I want you to really comment down below. And if you are watching this and you are a young teenager or a young adult, or even if you are a single adult and you're looking to have children or, you know, get married, just keep in the forefront of your head to make sure that you are prudent with who you choose as a spouse, because you don't want to get married, get divorced. You don't want to have a child, you know, and have to deal with something that you were not expecting to from that co-parent. And that's just something that a decision that you don't want to take lightly. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up today. If you are still watching, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. I want you to like this video, and I want you to comment down below so that we can have a real discussion. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, bye.